everybody. Welcome to another episode of We Run This. I am Chris Illuminati. He is Nick Domingo, and this is where I ask you, Nick, what's up, man?
You know, and my normal answer, not much, dude. Just getting through the week.
Yeah, just living life.
I don't know if I have like a boring life, but I always feel like the biggest anxiety in my entire week is knowing you're going to ask me that question and just saying nothing much, dude. People are probably like, dude, this guy's the most boring fucking person ever.
Why don't you just have something ready? Just be like, Chris, I wrote 3 things down that made my week amazing.
I was at the coffee shop today prior to coming on here, and I thought, okay, Chris is going to hit you with this. Think of something. And so, you know, they've got these like gig cars, which is just essentially like I don't know, car to go, gig car, whatever it is in a certain city where you rent a car for, you know, a certain amount of time, you pay per minute, whatever. It's like a car sharing thing. And so I get in the car and I'm like, man, it smells like hardcore weed. Someone just smoked this place out. I'm like, this is what you're going to say. When Chris asks what's going on, be like, not much, dude. I, you know, rented this car and it reeked of weed. And that was going to be like the most exciting thing. So that literally is the most exciting thing that happened to me today.
That is way more exciting than what I wanted to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Before we hopped on our interview and before we hopped on this, I went for a run outside.
Yep.
I've really been killing it with running. I feel like I've done 2 things differently that have really helped me. And one of them is actually eating like a half hour before I run, which I never used to do.
That's important.
Which is stupid, but like I've been doing one little packet of oatmeal and my runs have been great. Like I've been averaging like 8-minute 20 seconds, 8-minute 10 seconds, like, you know, been doing pretty well.
How long are you going for?
Today I did 6. Nice. And I averaged 8:20 in the 41 degree cold. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is showering.
Yes. Okay.
I did not shower afterwards, and I still have my running clothes on.
Okay.
What's the worst part about not showering and leaving your running clothes on? Is it the wet ass? Is it
wet ass is pretty bad because I try to avoid like sitting.
Yeah.
After that.
Wet back is pretty awful.
Yeah, back's bad. I mean, dude, you have like you just telling me that and not knowing like would have never guessed it. I'm disgusting. Like I sweat.
Well, it is cold.
Like,
it's 41 degrees out.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm sweating underneath this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't look like you.
I did fix my hair too.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You know,
I mean, I got to.
Got to look good on camera.
I mean, we're talking to a guy today who was voted best hair in high school, allegedly was voted best hair in high school. So I had to get my hair going. Exactly. Like I had to do a little bit something to it.
There's hair going on.
So yeah, there was a little bit of hair. And when we were talking to Craig, I did have a little bit of hair envy. He's got some great hair.
Yeah, he always rubs it in. You got the little flip in the back, and he just kept, you know.
Yeah, I had that. Yeah, you get pissed off at him. But I was trying to think while we're sitting here, like the ass sweat has kind of subsided. My feet are still kind of wet and soaked, which has been gross. And I also, I'm starting to I don't know if it's so much me smelling. It might be the clothes that are starting to smell a little bit. So I'm kind of like basting in it.
Yeah, that's, I think the worst part is after going for a run, when you're in the stuff that you ran in and it dries, and then you're sitting there and you're like, man, you know, I'm having a beer, I'm grabbing brunch with a buddy, and you can start smelling yourself. And it's not necessarily your armpits. It's like you're sitting down and you can see that like your disgusting ball sweat is like wafting up to, it's nasty. It's nasty.
I'm sure all the ladies who run and listen to this podcast are worried about their ball sweat.
Yeah. They're like, man, that doesn't happen to me. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like, dude, spray something down there and make sure that like doesn't happen.
I'm also not one of those people. I don't know. Obviously you are, because you just said you would. After a run, like I can't have, unless it's like a race.
Yeah.
Then I can go do something. But I can't go for a run and then be like, all right, now I'm going to go grocery shop. I'm going to run to the mall. I'm going to get my tires changed. Like I'm not that person. I just ran out of time today. Normally I would shower, but I had a phone call before our podcast and then we had this, so I didn't really have time. But I'm not the go do 7 things sweaty. I'm not that person.
It literally, in an entire year, I may be that person 5 times. And it's always when I go back home to Nashville and I run with my buddy who will go for like an 8 or 9 mile run. And then, you know, naturally we'll stop and sit down and have like lunch and beer and just kind of catch up. Other than that, man, I'm like you, like get me home, get me showered, let me get kind of going on with my day. But I don't know. It's out of respect almost to like other people, because I know how gross I am when I'm running, that like when I walk into a grocery store, if I walk by someone, I just know I might not be able to smell me, or even if I do and it's just a little bit bad, it's got to be worse for those people. They're like, man, you smell fucking awful. Like, just get the hell out of here.
At least you have running clothes on. Like,
yeah,
if
that's
you
true.
smell awful and you're wearing regular clothes, then people are like kind of keeping their distance. But when you got like the athleisure gear on, or your running stuff on, people are okay. He obviously just worked out or something.
We hope.
Yeah. So speaking of hair, we did talk to Craig Engels today. An amazing runner, an amazing head of hair, an amazing mustache, all around cool guy. And we had a great conversation with him.
Yeah, totally cool. I think it's interesting to hear him, like, before we hopped on with him, we were talking about athletes and just kind of how people get rewarded from their years of training and how they have to, dedicate themselves to their specific sport. And then we talked to Craig, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, dude, I love to run, but like, I love to party even more. And so it's so interesting to hear that dynamic for him, where it's like, dude, I do it because I'm competitive, I'm good at it. But he's super cool, like really interesting story and journey through his running career, and then all these other ideas that he has as an entrepreneur and stuff. He totally cool dude.
I like that you can talk to him and you're like, this guy could be a pro athlete. He could run a boogie board shop somewhere in the middle of, we don't know.
He could be a stoner in SoCal, or he's a professional runner. I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. I could have been lied to that whole time.
Yeah. So we really enjoyed our conversation with Craig, and this is Nick and Stinky Chris talking to him right now. What's up, everybody? We are back, and we are here with, let's see, he's a middle distance runner. He's the man with the magnificent mustache, except now it's kind of like mustache / beardish, if I'm looking at it correctly. And also, he likes to refer to himself as the Redneck Prefontaine. Is that true? That's what Grayson told me.
I think Grayson may have taken some liberties with that nickname, but I like it. I do like it.
He's Craig Engels, everybody. Welcome, Craig.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm excited to be back on.
So did he make that up? That's not the nickname you go by? Because we saw shirts coming out of this. We saw like everything out of it.
I mean, if you guys want to start up some merch and make some money off of it, that's all you. But I don't have it trademarked. But I do like that. That's the first time I've ever heard it, and I think I might go with it.
That's fine.
It's just too good not to. Like, you have to roll with this right now, or run, I should say. You have to proverbially run with this, right? To get going. I mean, you can put this on shirts, you can put this on hats, man. Like, all of a sudden, you're gonna just see your popularity grow. Like, and
the Redneck Prefontaine. I really like that.
Yeah. So here's the problem with stuff like that.
Sorry, I don't have a
Good.
Sorry. I was saying sorry. I don't have a mustache right now. I'm getting warmed up. My lady doesn't like the mustache, so when I'm not on camera or in races, I usually don't have one.
I don't get that. My fiance hates when I have a mustache, and I think part of being a guy is being able to grow a mustache, right? Like,
exactly, it should be.
It's more balls to grow a mustache than girls realize. Like, it's never a good look, but like, you always, it's every guy wants it to be a good look. That's why we do it.
Yeah, we do it to get compliments from other guys, not girls.
Exactly. I love it. That's like 100% accurate.
I think it's I think it's like what the mustache kind of stands for in other parts of, like, it's either cop or like creepy kind of molester look. I think that other people gave mustache the bad name, and therefore, like, guys who want to grow it have to live with the stigma of what the mustache brings.
That does suck. It sucks that pedophiles are a thing.
So well, yes, because
they're ruining mustaches for everybody.
Yeah. Because that's what they did. That's the worst thing they've done. Mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
But so here's the problem. So Craig, here's something you got to think about, because I've heard this from other people who get famous and have a certain look to them. They have to keep it for the rest of their life because people get mad if they don't look that way anymore.
Yeah, imagine if The Rock was like, hey man, I really want to get on a diet and get skinny and run a marathon. No one would like him anymore. But I try and avoid that by cutting my hair every once in a while, and then people are like, oh, you look like a normal person. I'm like, exactly. Sometimes it's nice to blend in.
I mean, Selleck tried to go away from it. Like, his mustache was so epic. Like, that's what made him an 80s icon. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to go on to Blue Bloods or whatever that, awful CBS show was. And he shaved it off. And now I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, the dude's got the stash back. Like, he knew that he is Tom Selleck with a mustache. He's not just Tom Selleck. Like, people don't care about him if he doesn't have the stash.
So Craig,
Craig,
let me ask this. You set a bunch of records in your high school, but I also noticed that you also were voted the guy with the best hair. So which do you like better? Having all the records in high school or being voted best hair?
One of them gets you way cockier than the other.
Okay, which one?
The hair. Yeah, man, was that superlative? Did you go back in my yearbook or something? Where'd you get
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Wow. So I'm not 100% sure if that's factual, but I'll take it.
So you think somebody just added that to your Wikipedia page?
I mean, I don't remember any time in my life being voted best hair. I think maybe worst hair.
Oh man.
Best mullet equals worst hair in a lot of people's eyes.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Then again, you are a male. Men like bad haircuts and bad facial hair.
Exactly.
That is true. So you started running in high school. Like how did you know you were great at running? Like, did you run when you were a little kid? Like, what got you into the sport?
Well, first off, I'll lead with running isn't the most fun sport ever. I think everyone listening and you guys know that, but, it was like, honestly, it was more accidental. I played soccer my whole life. And then I got kicked off the team in,
I think you're freezing up a little bit.
It was my sophomore, junior year. And so I went out for cross country while I was home early. Hold on, let me get on real quick.
Yeah, you keep on freezing up on us, bud. This is where we need intermission music, Nick.
Yeah.
I tried that once and then I got dinged with the copyright thing on YouTube.
Did you really?
Yeah, I tried to use the music from Between Two Ferns, which is actually from Taxi Driver.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I might have put 10 seconds of it. And we got dinged with copyright infringement.
That sucks. Ruining the fun, man. Ruining the fun.
So we're going to have to find some fun intermission music
to
play here, unless we just keep talking. Because Craig is still here, but we can't really hear him.
Yeah.
So he is. There he is. There he is. We got you back, man.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. I think it's better now.
Okay.
Is that going to ruin the whole podcast?
No, we were just talking while hold on. We got you on two screens for some reason now. I'm going to try and get you out of the other screen.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never seen that.
Let's see if this works. If I disconnect you, you come back.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, it was weird. You were signed on twice. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. The Wi-Fi is spotty here, but hopefully it's good now.
So you said
man over there.
Yeah, so you were saying running sucks, and then you played soccer and you got kicked off the soccer team. What did you get kicked off for?
I guess yeah. I'll start back over so you guys can edit this right. But
okay.
Yeah, so basically I was saying running isn't the most fun sport of all time, and I think everyone knows that. It's usually most sports punishments, and it's a corny enough line to put on t-shirts. But so I played soccer my whole life, and I actually didn't even mean to start running, but I got kicked off the soccer team either sophomore or junior year of high school, and didn't want my parents to know why I was coming home early. So I went over to the cross country team, which was just practicing next to the soccer field. And it turned out like I wasn't good at first. I was just another guy on the team, and it was kind of fun. We got to travel to meet still, it was like the most fun part about high school athletics is like messing around on that bus, which ironically is like why I got kicked off the team, the soccer team.
Okay.
I have a feeling you have a similar story as to why I got suspended from my soccer team freshman year in high school. So I want to hear where this is going right now.
I mean, high school kids, they're like throwing stuff out the windows and stuff. And I decided I'm like, oh, this will get everyone to laugh. So I pulled down my pants and mooned the car beside us.
Dude,
turns out it was the coach.
You're my spirit animal, dude, because that is exactly what me and 5 of my teammates, who were all 6 of us were the best players on the team. I was captain. And after we won this game, I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like, let's celebrate. We're all having fun. I'm like, I'm going to moon people. And they all followed my lead. And we all got suspended for 1 day of school and one or 2 games, I think.
Yeah, but Craig mooned the coach.
Yeah. So you're like going another level. I mean, you're like 10 years younger than me. So I feel like I set the foundation, but you took it like another level. You were like, we're not going to do strangers. We're going to do a coach.
And now destiny has brought us together.
Exactly. You have much better hair and facial hair than I do, but
now
we're together, man. We're
Craig,
brothers.
Did they know whose ass it was, or did like everybody rat you out?
Easily. I mean, no, like they knew that like people were acting up, but they knew that no one else would be as dumb as me.
as bold, not dumb, bold.
Yeah. But so there was it was like 3 strikes, but and then another strike was pulling someone's pants down at practice, which was hilarious, obviously. And then the 3rd strike was I got in a fist fight at practice.
Pulling your kid's pants.
Yeah, maybe it was the kid.
Yeah.
And so after all of these 3 minor transgressions, the cross country coach is like, yeah, I got to get this guy on the team.
Yeah, but hopefully maybe my permanent record didn't transfer over there quick enough.
Okay, so you start running, and then when did you know, hey, I'm actually kind of good at this?
I say like a year, maybe a year and a half after I started running was when I was like, okay, like if I keep progressing, maybe I could like get into college to run. And then by the end of my senior year, it was like I should have a scholarship to run. I mean, there's not like a ton of scholarships, so it's not a full scholarship, but like my coach was telling me that with my times, I should be able to get paid, which was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So you ended up at NC State, right? First, and then you went to Ole Miss. I know a couple guys who ran. I mean, I grew up in Ohio, but I know a couple guys who ran at NC State. They're pretty good program for running, especially for you picking up so late in the game in high school. When you got offered and were able to run at NC State, were you stoked? I mean, again, you're not just going to like some D3 school that no one knew about.
Yeah, I mean, on your word, I probably know the people that you're talking about, but NC State recruits huge in Ohio for some reason.
Yeah, like the Smiths, like Wesley Smith, Matt Kasuf, those guys. Yeah, I played soccer with them, grew up with them, and so that's kind of how I knew about NC State, kind of being, their running program being what it is. So, I mean, talk about like what the experience was for you to go from soccer to like I'm just running to have fun, and now you're like, oh shit, I'm good and now a D1 athlete in this.
Yeah, well, running it's like sad. Running's kind of a sport where you can't really mess around and still be good. Like in soccer, a lot of the the people that are the most talented don't really practice as much as the other people, and they're better. But with running, you really have to stay on top of it. So life got kind of boring for a bit. And when I got to NC State, like my whole life was just running and school. I think I missed out on like a lot of the social aspect of college, and that got me like that like put me in a weird mindset, and then I got injured, so my whole life was just in shambles, like as dramatic like college kid who's 19 years old. So it was, I got injured for 2 years there, and never really got to compete for them. And I was about to quit and transfer to Appalachian State, which is a school in the mountains of North Carolina, where all my friends went, and I was just going to join a fraternity and party for the rest of college.
And what made you not do that?
My high school coach, who the one who took a chance on putting me on the team, he was friends with the Ole Miss coach, Ryan Van Hoy, who's he's still coaching there. He's still crushing it, and Ole Miss is still absolutely like one of the best programs in the country. But they were both young. They're both like right around 26 years old when I was 20. So it was cool to like have a younger coach. At NC State, my coach was 106 years old. Mm-hmm. Didn't get anything, didn't get my humor, didn't understand like why I was behaving the way I was. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to like finally go to Ole Miss and give it one more shot under this younger coach who like understood me.
Now, okay, so the thing about your hair is on Wikipedia. I saw something else on Wikipedia, and I'm hoping this is true too.
I hope all this bad.
Let's talk about this. So it says, during his winter of uncertainty, he sent gifts individually to his teammates at NC State as a sign of goodbye, and also bought a used recreational vehicle on Craigslist, which broke down immediately after purchase. Is that true?
Dude, I don't even know if gifts were out back then.
No, gift. Not a gift. Like a not a gift, like an actual gift, like presents.
I did. Okay, yeah. I wrote him each goodbye letters, and I did buy an RV that I was going to live in at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll fit in with the rest of the student population there if I'm living in that. But it broke down after about 30 miles of driving, and stayed in my parents' front lawn for the next 2 years.
And what was the plan? You were going to take the RV to Appalachian State? What were you going to do?
Well, I bought it right before I transferred to Ole Miss, actually.
Okay.
And I was going to live in it at Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, when I went on the recruiting, like when you transfer schools, you can go on a recruiting visit. Mm-hmm. And I went down there and absolutely fell in love. And I'm like, honestly, I have enough clothes in my backpack. Like I packed for the weekend. I'm like, I could just move down here and have my parents ship me a few shirts and stuff, I'm like, I don't even need to go back home. I'm committing on the spot. But then I was like, but maybe I could go home and drive the RV down and live in that. Didn't work out.
What hurt more? Some of the injuries you sustained at NC State, under the 106-year-old coach, or having your RV break down and your whole plan just be ruined about living in an RV on Ole Miss campus?
Honestly, my net worth was about $1,500, and I spent $1,700 on this RV. So it was a big hit. I'm like, I guess I won't eat for the rest of this month. Yeah, but it all worked out.
Nice.
Now,
and then,
go ahead, Nick. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, while you were at Ole Miss, talk about how your life changed from NC State. You said you got along with the coach a lot better. He was a lot closer to your age. So how did he push you to get kind of the most out of yourself to get to, this path that you're on now as a runner?
That's a hard question to answer. But Van Hoy, he was just he's super understanding, but he's also real moody. So it led to like, I depended on him for track and field, but I wouldn't depend on him for like emotional support, which is like a lot of coaches are about that. So it was like it felt like real college. Like he was my coach for running. The other coach at NC State tried to control like a lot more aspects of your life. And this was more like I could actually go out on the weekends and enjoy Ole Miss and what they had to offer. But still run better than I had my whole life. So it was a really cool balance where I'm like super thankful I got to enjoy college and go to some of these parties that Ole Miss is famous for, and the football games and tailgating and everything.
Down at the Grove?
Down at the Grove, man. It was awesome.
How important do you think it is? You kind of touched on something there. How important do you think it is for athletes? So you go and you check out a school, and you meet the coach for, I don't know, maybe a day or two, and you see what they can do, and you see all the accolades hanging around, which is great. And if you want to be that type of runner, that's where you go. But sometimes, like for a runner like you, it's about the culture, and it's about what the team is and what the school is and that kind of stuff. So what advice would you give to a kid that, like, they're a good runner, but they might not be, big into strictness, or doesn't like, having a drill sergeant for a coach? Like, how do you kind of like balance those two? How do you find a good program that also is a good culture?
I mean, dude, I get that all the time. And like, when you're 18, you don't know what you want. You don't know like what's going to happen in the next 4 years or whatever. But I guess my biggest piece of advice is like, the whole point of running and sports and life itself is to have fun. So you don't want to go somewhere where you're going to sacrifice having fun just to run fast. Like, there's no point in that. If you're, who cares if you're running fast if you're not enjoying it and having fun with your teammates or friends or the environment of the college. So my biggest piece of advice is to just choose a team that you like and a coach that you like. And then personally, academics come second. But I understand some people will go to like Yale or Harvard and stuff, and they choose that, and then the team is second, But I'm not that smart.
Well, you seem like so, like talking to you, you seem so laid back, and I keep reminding myself like you're a pro athlete, and like what you do, I get it. Like running is one of those sports, like you said, that takes repetition. It takes hard work to improve just 3 seconds. You can work a year to improve 3 seconds of your time to set a PR. But talk about like how you now at your age have changed a little bit into being a pro runner, and what your schedule looks like now. And, are you still going out to the parties and all that stuff and all that good, the fun part?
Yeah. I can't speak on behalf of all professional athletes, because the NFL, NBA, and NHL and MLB, all those ones that make big money, it's so different. It's I'm sure they still have fun, but professional running it's a weird sport because it's not about money. No one's making money. I mean, the top athletes, they do all right, but it's like still the top athletes well below the NFL. What's the minimum? So it's a cool sport where it's like no one's cocky, no one's full of themselves. No, it's not really a business. And that keeps everyone humble, which is really nice. And it's probably like why it seems such a casual sport.
Well, we talked to a 2-time, almost 3-time Olympian, Nick Simmons. I'm giving him a shout out. And he said something similar. He said no one's making money in running. And a lot of it, not only just because of the culture and, that's a whole nother thing, but like brands right now don't have events for you guys to compete in. And so for you, what have you found different ways? Like he got into YouTubing and, really promoting his self-image. Like how have you kind of maintained some sort of balance or interest that you have outside of running to kind of, support yourself while still training to be a professional runner?
Yeah, that's a good question, because this sport you have like, no one really understands, but most of it is about your recovery. Like anyone can run as much, like they could run 100 miles a week, but if you don't recover right, you're going to get hurt and then not be able to race. So it is a tough balance. And a lot of things I really like to do are like physically strenuous. I like skiing and I like golf. I like gambling. I like all these things that are probably stressful.
Physical. Is it real physical thing of gambling?
You've sat, I don't know if you guys have sat at a table, man, but I've stood at a craps table for a couple hours and you're like, I'm not running tonight.
Yeah. Good point.
I don't know, but yeah, I've kept busy during this whole COVID thing. Usually we're traveling, we're racing almost every weekend, and it's super fun. And I like to keep it balanced where I don't really party that much unless it's after a race and everyone's going out and it's something new. Or I'm in the off season. Actually, we party quite a bit, but I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's been good. Recently, I've been trying to like start some sort of business. I was trading stocks, which is basically just gambling.
Mm.
And I realized it's a little stressful if like I have a hard workout that day, I'm thinking about like, did I just lose $1,000 on my portfolio? So I've tried to stay away from that and start. I really want to start like a coaching business for running, because runners don't make that much money. I want it to be like a platform where runners or pole vaulters or any athlete can coach high school or anyone who wants to be coached, to make a little supplemental income. And I would just be the mediator there, like Airbnb. So I've been working on that a bit, and I don't know like what it takes to create an app or whatever, but that's what. Yeah, Nick Simmons has been crushing it on YouTube though.
Well, I saw on your Instagram account that you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel that's renovations and running. What the hell would that be?
Bro, so I've been you hit on the RV earlier.
Yeah.
I've been buying RVs and flipping them and selling them and boats since my Ole Miss days. So I really like doing all that kind of stuff. And I just bought a house recently and renovated it a little bit. So I love all that.
Hold on. I've never heard of anybody flipping a boat. How does that happen?
Dude, in Mississippi, it's insane. You get on Craigslist and there's these people with 4 teeth selling a boat for $200. And we literally will just we'll clean it up, get the engine running and then sell it for $1,400. And we're like, it's this easy. That's how we paid for stuff in college. That's how we paid for our meal plans. That's how we paid for rent. We were grinding. We would also rent our house out on Airbnb for Ole Miss game days. And these students from the other school would come and pay $300 a night, and we would stay upstairs. They would stay downstairs. And a couple times it was like a sorority coming in, so we'd go out and party with them.
Man, you guys.
This is brilliant. Like,
Chris, what are you and I doing wrong, man?
I don't know. I want to go back to college and figure this out.
Gambling is a physical activity, like, partying with sorority girls when you're renting out your place. Like,
do you come up with those stuff?
You are much smarter than me.
Yeah. Do you come up with those stuff while you're running? Like, what is this? Like, is that where you have your ideas?
Honestly, yeah. So, I guess most people put music in, but we just run and don't, just think. It's like our church.
Okay. So walk us through, what's the one idea that you had that just blew up in your face?
I've never put too much money into one idea. Let me think. I'll have to get back to you. We'll ask a couple more questions and I'll think about it.
All right. Let's ask a couple more questions.
Yeah. So I want to talk more about, obviously the running side. Like, 2017, I think it was, you joined the Nike Oregon Project, where you ran your first sub 4 mile. Now, as someone who gets stoked for running like a 6:05, 6:20 mile, maybe once in my life, what's it like to run under 4 minutes in a mile and, be okay afterwards and not die?
Honestly, it's a lot about perspective. So you running a sub 6 minute mile would be equivalent to me running sub 4. Afterwards, you'd be like, that was awesome, but you'd be fully gassed out on the track,
Yep.
But it's cool. Van Hoy, the coach that I keep bringing up, he taught me to never race for times. And a lot of people really only care about times. Obviously, like when people ask, like, hey, have you broken 4 for the mile? It's all about the times. But when I go into races, I never really think about times. I think about winning the race. And that's where my fastest times have come. I ran my 3:51 mile just trying to beat everyone else in the field from Kenya, Ethiopia, the United States, all these countries. And afterwards you just look at the clock and you're like, holy shit. I just ran 9 seconds under 4 minutes, and it's crazy when you bust out a good one, you sometimes feel great after.
What's that mindset like? I mean, I'd imagine it's like, you hear the gun go off and you just you don't even, I feel like you almost blank, just blank out. And you're just like, I'm running. I'm not even thinking. I don't even have enough time. I mean, I think in between high school periods, you had 4 minutes between classes. You're literally running a mile in that amount of time. Are you running as if you stole something, dude? I mean, put us in your mind when you're doing something like that during a race.
Yeah, honestly, what you said, nothing. For the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're not thinking about anything. And then when you hear the bell, you're like, oh shit, I gotta get going,
And how do you get in that second gear? Like when you hear that bell and all right, like here I go, you're already running like faster than 98% of people on the planet can run. And then you go into like a higher gear. Like where does that come from?
Oh, you're getting me fired up right now.
You want to run while you're doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That's part of the whole mental aspect of most athletes is like there's this weird, like that's why a lot of athletes are crazy or bizarre is there's this something that clicks in their mind where it's like animalistic, that last lap is really like going to war. You're like, I have to beat everyone here.
Now let me ask this. So obviously we can tell you're a laid back guy. You like to have fun, but when race time comes, you're serious and you get into another gear and you run as fast as you can. But I'm sure like in practice and stuff, sometimes your laid back demeanor might rub some people the wrong way, especially teammates who think that you're really not putting forth an effort. Do you ever run into that problem where you have to prove to people, look, I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Not in a while because it's this weird mental game everyone's playing with each other. Everyone's trying to act more casual than each other. Like when you finished a hard rep, you try and stand there and act like you're not gassed, so that everyone around you is like, why am I so out of shape? So it's this weird like psychology thing where no one's going to call you out because it's on you. Like they don't care how you race, Mm-hmm. Maybe in college they did, and people will get pissed because they're working way harder than it seems I am, but I'm actually working as hard as they are. I just try and make it seem like I'm not.
Is there one race that stands out to you that you would put as like your all-time favorite? Maybe it wasn't even one you set like a PR you won, but like one that you can look back on and just be proud, like that you went to that second gear and you were like, dude, that was the best race I've ever run in my entire life.
Certainly. Mm-hmm. It was the 2016 Olympic trials. I was still in my college uniform and I like went there wanting to race the 800, which is the half mile for anyone not. And I think I was like 20th out of 30 guys that made it in. And I thought I wasn't going to make it out of the first round, and I ended up making it out of the first round. And my parents never got to see me race, and they were there. So it was really cool. I'm like, oh, at least they didn't waste their money flying out to Oregon to watch me race. And I ended up making the final in that. And I got 4th at the Olympic trials, which was crazy. So you come in ranked 20th or whatever I was and ended up getting 4th, one spot away from making the Olympic team. And most people would have been so bummed about that, but I was like about to cry. Like I'm not emotional at all. And I was about to cry. And like, I remember how stoked I was. Like it was like one of the most memorable races of my life. And then I ended up racing 3 more times at the Olympic trials. Cause I was the last person in for the 1500, which is basically the mile, and got 5th in that. So like the whole week after that, I was just reflecting like, what the hell just happened? I was ranked 20th and 30th in the country and then ended up getting 4th and 5th. And it was really cool, but I think most people would have been upset about those races getting 4th and 5th.
Were you not bummed though to like get that close to making the Olympic team, or did you use it as motivation to be like, look, I got to push myself harder to make it next time?
Months later, I was like, I was reflecting. I'm like, damn, I should have been an Olympian. But like you take what you get. Like I'll never like try and change the past because I'm like, oh, that was supposed to happen. So I do use it as motivation now, but it is like, it's a lot of pressure doing that well in college. And then now it's been 5 years because of COVID, but this year will be like the year to prove that I'm actually an Olympian,
How do you get yourself psyched up for a day where you have to run multiple races in one day? Like, does that make it harder that you have to do a bunch, or easier because you're like, well, if I didn't do well here, maybe in the next race I'll do better? Like, is there a difference with mindset?
Yeah, strangely, it's more like it's easier. It's more fun. Once you get that first race over with, the pressure's off. You're like, okay, now this one's just like, this is house money. I'm just going, you know.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you turn out having a better race because you're warmed up.
Mhm.
So I love, and racing is the whole, like, training for running sucks. There couldn't be much worse. Like going out and running 10 miles a day, 12 miles a day, and then like not getting to race would suck. So there's some people out there that run for fun, and I don't understand them.
Yeah,
That's me. That's me and Nick. I mean, we're not training for anything. We run for fun.
Yeah,
But so if I were you, I'd be training for like a beer mile. I'd be training for like it's a 5K or to beat each other. You know, I'd be training for. I have to have something.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have personal records and we train against that kind of stuff, but we're not like training for Olympics or stuff. Here's what I do. Secretly, what I do. So I follow a lot of not professional runners, but like a lot of my friends run and stuff. Well, like, you know, Nick runs and stuff. So I'll see what they do on Instagram and I'll look at that. And in my mind, I'll go, all right, I got to beat that today. Like I might not beat time, but I'm definitely going to beat distance or whatever, because they've already gone. And it's like, oh, they did 6. I'm going to do 7 or whatever. And then I'm just going to put it up there and I'm going to like, not going to tag them or anything. I'm just going to put I ran 7 today, you know, so.
So the truth's now coming out, dude. Okay. I see how it is.
Well, you're always going to beat me.
Always one up me. No, I do something similar. I have 2 buddies, my college roommate, and then a friend from Nashville, Troy and Brent, and both of them ran. One of them ran in college, and I just remember them giving me shit when I started running, you know, just to stay in shape in college. And so now when I post my like Strava times, I think to myself, like, you know, you kick it in the gear when you're like, all right, that bell rings. For me, I'm like, dude, I'm averaging like 7:02 right now on an 8-mile run. Like that's really, really good for me. Like push it even harder, get under 7 so that Troy and Brent can see it and give you props and be like, all right, like I'm making those guys realize, you know, I'm 36, my old ass is still kind of having that competitive spirit, you know? So that's, I do, we obviously do it for fun. We're not at your level yet, but I say we're 10 years older than you, but you know, we're working towards it, bro. We're working towards it.
No, I like that. As long as you have some sort of competition, that's the whole thing. Like, but you guys are going to start waiting until midnight to run so that
Yeah,
exactly.
When we talk to other runners before, Nick and I always like talking about this, but we've asked other runners. We like to talk about like the unwritten rules of running, especially when you're on a team. So I'll give you an example. So we talked to Corey McGee, and and so we asked her about like some of the unwritten rules of her team, and she told us one of them is if somebody asks you to go for a run, don't be a one-upper. Like if you're running with somebody, run with them. So all right, I see you nodding your head. So kind of give us some unwritten rules of your team, like you shouldn't do when you're running.
Okay, yeah. So that's a really good one. We call it 1-stepping and 2-stepping.
Right, 1-stepping. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you never want to do that. Everyone hates a 1-stepper. I think a 1-stepper is almost worse than a 2-stepper.
Oh, really?
Because a 2-stepper you just let him go. But yeah, I think my biggest pet peeve is like say the coach, we have a workout like 5 times 400 and we're supposed to hit a specific pace, and it's my turn to lead, and I'm perfectly on pace to what the coach said I'm supposed to hit, but the guy behind me pulls up next to me and starts pushing the pace. That pisses me off, you know, and then it turns into a race. Sometimes that's good in practice, but most of the time, 90% of the time, you're gonna get an elbow from me, you know.
You turn it into the roller derby.
Do you think he's doing it on purpose, or do you think he's just running?
It doesn't really happen. We all know each other. We've been on the team long enough to know. But when a new person joins the team and starts doing it, you gotta check them, you know. So sometimes it'll be like, oh, we were supposed to hit 55 seconds, and we'll hit 53, 52 because they'll push the pace, you know.
Got it.
You're just like, fuck you, man.
You know,
like, we're gonna make it. We're good. We don't need to compete yet.
Yeah.
So you talked about earlier recovery and how that is for you the most important thing.
Yeah.
I'm always interested to hear, mainly it's selfish, but I want to know how to recover better, after a run. So what do you do when you're done training more so than like a race to get your body back to full strength?
So yeah, a lot of times it's weird. Right after hard workout, we'll go lift hard. And then, so our hard days are hard and our easy days are easy. That's like the whole thing. And a lot of people forget the easy days being easy and they'll run too hard on those. On an easy run, I'm running anywhere from 7 to 8 minute pace per mile. But on a hard day, we're running obviously like 5 minute to 4 minute pace. So those easy days either don't run. You got to either like swim or bike or something, or take the day super easy, or else you're going to get hurt. But there's other things we do. We get 2 massages a week, sports massages, which is nice. We have Normatec boots. I don't know if you know what those are.
No.
They like have these air chambers and they inflate to like push the lactic acid out of your legs. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're like $1,500, but USATF gives them to their athletes for free. Sleep is a huge one, and then obviously diet is a big one. But I think the more so than diet and sleep is hydration. You could get hurt so much faster by not hydrating properly than you can by like losing sleep and eating wrong.
So me just thinking, okay, I've got a couple glasses of water that I've had throughout the day. I'm going to go out for a 5-mile run with little hydration. Thinking that I can push myself just off mental strength probably isn't the best way to go about it.
I don't know. Maybe if you're training for like a desert run and marathon.
Yeah, I'll claim that that's what it is. Yeah. Not just me being a dumbass.
let me get your opinion on this one, because I've been having this problem recently. In fact, I just had it today. So I live in Jersey and it's cold right now. It's like 40 degrees out. And I ran today and I did 6 miles. And when I got inside, and this happens a lot when I run in the cold, it could be a good like half hour to 45 minutes before I realize I haven't had anything to drink since I got back, because I'm just not thirsty. So like, how do you kind of remind yourself like to drink more, especially after your run? Like on the hot days you do it, but like on the days when it's really not cold or you really don't push yourself, like I still have to drink water.
Yeah, that's tough. I try and avoid cold as much as possible. We're actually in Phoenix, Arizona right now to get away from Portland. Okay. But I'm the same as you. Like I'll get back from a run if it's colder out and not drink, like, not even realize it. But as soon as like I start drinking water, I'm like, oh damn, I was thirsty. Mm-hmm. But I really like recovery smoothies too. Like a lot of people do that protein powder, but I'd prefer smoothies with some healthy stuff in there. That way you're getting your water.
It's a good idea. Maybe I should do smoothies.
Yeah. So here we are, 2021. We're hopefully, knock on wood, coming out of this whole COVID stuff. What do you see for the future of racing? When do you think you guys are going to be able to get back to competing again? And what do you have looking forward for yourself?
Yeah, I'm not sure when this podcast is going to drop, but I think next weekend we're looking to go for it's called a distance medley relay. We're looking to go for the world record in that at Arkansas.
Nice.
Okay.
We have a sweet team here with Donovan Brazier, Eric Jenkins, myself, and then some other Nike runner for 400. But so we'll race at Arkansas indoors, because I guess those states are just completely open with no laws.
Wild West.
Yeah, it's the wild South.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
But yeah, we are super careful. We get COVID tested before and after, and we quarantine and wear masks and everything. But hopefully this year the Olympics happen, man. That's the whole goal. End of June is the Olympic trials, and if you guys haven't ever been out to the Olympic trials, make it a boys trip. Go out there, go to Eugene, rent a house. It's one of the coolest sporting events like ever, because everyone there is in love with the sport. Everyone's out there partying every night. You get to see all these athletes and party with them when they're done racing. It'd be like the Super Bowl if the Kansas City Chiefs went out to the bars afterwards.
I'm sold.
Yeah. I mean, I'm up in Seattle, dude. So I mean, Eugene is, like 3.5 hours from me. So I might be there with my RV and my souped up, renovated boat.
Yeah. I think Craig's got the hookup on some RVs if you need them. Like you don't have to go to. Maybe that's why they call it Craigslist. I think Craig.
Maybe that's why.
I think you have your own website where you just.
We're gonna add that to your Wikipedia. Also, the founder of Craigslist.
Love it. Yes. Yes.
I've thought, and you just reminded me. There's two investments that were hilarious. One of them is about to be an investment, and maybe I make it, maybe I don't. But it's a double-decker bus for sale for $15,000.
Okay. And what are you going to be doing with this double-decker?
Dude, I wanted to turn it into a 2-story party bus and drive it around Portland.
Okay.
That would work. That would, as someone who's lived in Portland before, like that would absolutely work, dude.
Oh,
just driving around Mary's and all that stuff down Burnside, and you're like solid.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be fun, but I went and looked at it. It was in Arizona, and the ceiling is just a little bit too short for a party bus. Like you'd have to be maximum 5'9", so or be sitting down. So we'll see what happens with that investment. But the other one is hilarious. It was I got really into I was watching a YouTube video and got into a thing called drop shipping. Okay, it's basically like you're the middleman for products from China to people who are like suckers to fall for Instagram ads. and my idea was selling faux fur jackets. and I think it would have done really well, but I got too embarrassed. I probably put 100 hours into building the website and everything, and bought the domain. It was a good domain. It was called For Faux Sake, FUR. And then I got too embarrassed. I showed my friends and they all laughed. So I never went live with the site.
Yeah, but everybody, I mean, if you think of every great idea, people get laughed at that's how you know you're onto something.
Yeah. I don't know. Selling faux fur, who knows the quality of it? It's coming from China.
Yeah. I'd be worried about that getting dropped off at your house and then you have to ship it out. Lord knows what's in there.
I had all these. Phil Knight got laughed at when he brought some Nike shoes out, man.
That's true, man. It's true. I just finished that book, Shoe Dog. I don't know if you guys have read it. It's a great book. But apparently they're thinking about making a movie out of it. Mm-hmm. So to your guys' opening statement, Redneck Prefontaine, I emailed the producer and the screenwriter seeing if I could audition for the role of Steve Prefontaine.
Totally.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Do it. Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, we'll champion you.
I DM'd them on Instagram. I found their Instagrams. Haven't gotten any response.
And even if they're not interested, you could sell them some faux fur.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Now, one last question before we let you go because I found it interesting. So did you really live in a camper with 4 other people during quarantine?
Is this on Wikipedia? What is
No, this is on your Instagram. This is on your Instagram.
No,
we do our research, dude. We do our research.
You guys did. It's a bit cooler than that.
Okay.
When as soon as COVID like this whole quarantine thing hit, me and my buddies met up in Nashville, like lawless city. I don't think they literally ever closed down. But we got there, and my buddy owns 10 acres of property, and every day we were just like. He lives in basically a shed. Like it wasn't a shed, but it was a step up from a shed. And we were all staying in there. He had just got married, so it was him, his wife, me, my buddy, my other buddy. These guys both ran for Ole Miss, and then my girlfriend came later on. But we ended up buying a Sprinter van, a Mercedes Sprinter van, and renovating it at the property. We would spend like 12 hours a day on that, man, and we would run in the mornings. That running was second to this Sprinter van, but it was awesome. And I actually I drove it from Tennessee to Portland, and now Portland to Phoenix, and it hasn't broken down yet. Knock on
wood.
Knock on wood. But yeah, it has like 280,000 miles into it.
Jesus,
that's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a fun project and such a good kill of a month of where everyone didn't know what was going on with the world.
Yeah. Well, dude, we absolutely appreciate it. Really want to know where you can be found, like what website and social media handles that people can check you out on.
Well, I think currently I just have Instagram. I ended up deleting my Twitter because who knows what I posted when I was 14 years old.
Exactly.
We're in cancel culture, so I deleted my Twitter all in all just because I didn't know. So, and if you want to reach me, I try and respond to most DMs. So, yeah, hit me up on there if you have any questions or concerns with anything I said in this episode.
Nice. What's your handle? Sorry, I don't think you actually gave it.
It's Craigathor. I don't know why. My buddy called me Craigathor growing up, and that's what I went with. And
nice.
Yeah, if anyone has any other suggestions for names, I'm open to change because it seems kind of childish.
I like it.
No, dude, I like it. We appreciate you having on, the founder of Craigslist, hopeful future Olympian, a hustling entrepreneur, and absolutely the most brilliant person I feel like we've ever met on this podcast. So, Craig, thank you honestly so much, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and hopefully next time I'm on your guys' podcast, I'll have the full flow and effect.
Yeah,
we hope so.
Yeah,
and good luck with your guys' Strava rivalry and everything, man. I need to follow you guys on there so I can watch it.
Definitely.
You can make fun of us after you just run a sub 4 and you're in the bar when we're running like our 7:30s, for 6 miles.
You guys need to get into the beer mile. I don't know if you know a lot about it, but you need to start researching that. I have a feeling you guys could crush it.
Well, one thing we won't do is Nick Simmons was telling us about how he did the Big Mac mile and wanted to die. So that's something we won't be doing.
We won't be doing that.
Yeah.
Eating 4 Big Macs in a year is dangerous, let alone a day.
Yes. And that brings another episode of We Run This to a close. Nick and I want to thank everybody for listening. If you love the podcast, please share it with friends or leave a review on iTunes. And remember to follow Nick and I on social media. He's at It's Nick Domingo, and I'm at Chris Illuminati on Twitter. Or follow us both on Instagram at We Run This _pod. Until next time, see everybody out there.